the first pick over on their side as well. We've seen some variation when it comes to right of first selection, right? As to which has found the most success. I do think that it's reached this point of balance, and it's more about what you prefer as a team, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and I was of the opinion, like, oh, first pick's really good for the first few games, and then you want to get counter pick when Fearless is going to eat up all of those blind picks and stuff like that. I don't know whether that is even necessarily as powerful as it used to be with the amount of science that our teams have done with all these pocket picks that they have.
My favorite right now is to pick blue side, because they usually take first pick, and then you end up getting the counter picks as well as the ability to play through that blue side pry out in the bottom lane. But even if they do take second pick and do the blue side first pick, you could shift your draft around that as well.
Whoa, blue side first pick? That's novel.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. But we're going to be checking out our little train here. With Kundori on it, wearing the Teemo hat.
Yeah,
the mascot. Daejeon, yep.
They have a ramyeon as well that they made, Daejeon, recently with this mascot, and I've been trying to get my friends in Daejeon to get their hands on it. It's apparently really hard to find, so I'm hoping that I could get my hands on it pretty soon here during MSI and taste that one, but...
Can you put a word in with Shadow for me too?
Yeah, I'll try. I've been trying.
Okay,
I've been trying to get that ramyeon unlocked. It's been hard to find.
If anyone else has any orders, just make sure that you just send Wolf a DM, and I'm sure that he'll get you hooked up. And also, if you're into pizza, he does make some of that as well over here in Korea at the same time. There's a little bit of a delay getting into this pick and ban, but we'll be there as soon as we possibly can. As thankfully, we didn't actually have anything in the draft just yet, so we don't need to worry about going back and restarting things, because nothing had actually started yet.
I am just a little bit curious, because we had that, we talked about it with the space before, the homework copying.
Yeah,
we got a little bit.
Ziggs, Rise drafts.
Yeah, with the Jason to the Ezreal, Karma, Sion. I'm wondering if Game 1 is going to open in a similar way, and we're going to get like the third series in a row where Game 1 is kind of...
So both teams are going to be playing Ezreal Karma.
They might try to. Maybe we get the Ezreal denial from the Karma pairing.
That's a good point. As here we are finally on to our pick and ban here for game number 1. T1 on blue side, first pick for Gen.G. And the Varus, we're never going to see.
This is where Hanwha Life eSports had the initial Camille pick, though, right? And that's where the woes for T1 kind of started draft-wise, right? Was right in that game 1. T1 were able to bring it back a little bit, but Karma's gone, so we're not going to have that set up anymore. But this, for me, is a bigger look, a bigger temperature gauge as to what T1's read is after some pretty rough reads a few days ago. What's the transition here? What's the new prio?
Well, the new ban is going to be Cassiopeia, I would assume. As
Rumble's still available, of course, as well. Gen.G are always going to ban the Bard against Keria.
Well, it's interesting, actually, because they had Bard ban against them 100% of the time. Now banning Bard in this situation, which is understandable being against Keria, but I wonder how much they shift that and try and get the Bard themselves to Duro later as denial as well. The Jace ban too, so T1 says, look, we've done those drafts, both of us, we're getting out the way, we're not going to have a repeat of what we saw there, but it does mean, as you said, Cassiopeia, Rumble, Jarvan, all big picks are available now, and we're going to see what Gen.G going to take first.
Rise also has been jumping up in priority, and he's available too as a pretty safe blind pick.
The thing is, it's really hard with the Cassio available. And we just never see it, right? Like, we've seen Rise first picked all the time because the Orianna Cassio are always banned away, but the
Do it for Insect
will be the first pick.
Do it for Insect.
There we go. Thank you for bringing him along, Chijik. We really appreciate it, because his champion is played in the very first game.
With no Vi here, locking the Rumble doesn't feel like a sure thing, because you're playing Doran Rumble into Kiin Sante probably in that situation as well, which is pretty scary to think about. So I think the Cassiopeia I much prefer. It looks like that is what they are going to lock in here, which also weakens a Rise pick for Chovy.
Yeah, I think it's good into the Lee Sin. Obviously, a lot about his mobility and dashes. Good into the Rise. Rise Lee Sin have been very popular. They might go to something else, but that does weaken the Lee Sin a little bit. We've seen Annie Lee Sin, but Cassiopeia is still a very good lane into that. Pre-6 at least. And now for T1, a pick for Oner might just come through here.
I mean, they've got Cassie or Jarvan. Feels pretty good. if they do want to go there. Obviously, they can lock in a bottom lane here if they would like to, but we don't often see that until games like 3 or 4.
Oner doesn't prefer the Jarvan. We've noticed that this season, right? He had a negative win rate on it coming into this weekend and has otherwise avoided it. Generally speaking, he's played less Jarvan games than most of our top junglers right now. So instead, he's looking for the Trundle pick here, which is curious considering how much Lee Sin can circumvent those pillars, but there might be a larger reason here as well.
This already feels like a very control-based composition from T1, even with this, just with these 2 early picks. But the Trundle's interesting because we saw it initially as a counter specifically to Xin Zhao in the meta. Then it moved up to being a bit more like, oh, well, if they have Sion, we can see it played. Now they're coming out this early. On the other side, Gen.G go for Ambessa Galio. So Galio, a pick that does have setup for Lee Sin. Not the most fun, though, playing Galio into Trundle Cassiopeia. This is not a great time.
No, and we just saw Faker do this, right? Into HLE, and it did not go very well at all in that particular matchup. Zeka kind of having a field day. Cassio went completely ballistic. So this could be a little bit of a risk here in game number 1 as the Vayne is the answer into the Ambessa.
I thought it was almost 100% always going to be a ranged top laner here into this Ambessa. Could have been the Gnar, could have been the Vayne. I mean, in a crazy world, it could have been the Tristana, but this was left available, and T1 already have so much consistent damage with Cassiopeia. Now they have 2 threats, and they'll have a 3rd with Peyz later on in this draft. And I think for Gen.G, you really, really need to now have a lot of consistent damage for Ruler. Moving into the second phase, though, T1 likely to target that, as they'll take away initially here this Rakan that pairs well with the setup for Gen.G's draft.
Yeah, I really like the Rakan ban because he can play so well on the flanks and threaten getting onto this backline, even though he can have a tough time into Cassiopeia. With how the draft has played out so far, having this triple melee topside into Cassiopeia, Trundle, Vayne, you're going to need to get on that backline, those backline carries. That's going to be the goal for Gen.G. And Gen.G's bans are things that will stop that, make it even harder. Things like the Poppy coming through as a denial away from Keria here. I think both teams have pretty clear goals so far, but I think Gen.G are the ones who really need to bolster what they have so far to get on top of these key carries.
Yeah, I think a powerful bottom lane is going to be pretty important here for Gen.G. We need a lot of damage, and yes, the Nautilus is going to be a big one. Maybe something worth banning away here for T1. They do want to get rid of it.
I just
think obviously has a lot in his quiver.
If Gen.G go for Nautilus, it can't be Nautilus Misfortune. You know, you need a little bit more consistent damage, especially against 2 and eventually 3 consistent damage threats here for T1. If the MF combo doesn't work, you will always just get rolled over by the follow-up damage you'll never be able to compete with. Poppy going to be taken away first, so we'll see what this final ban is now for Gen.G. Bottom lane, so unknown. I like the Ashe ban. Works really well with the front line they have.
I think Ashe as well has that longer range engage. You don't have to run into the Cassiopeia to get it off. They banned the Lucian, interestingly enough, in this situation. I was wondering if a Lulu ban would end up coming out here.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I think if you deny the Lulu here, it weakens the Ambessa pick for Gen.G, and Gen.G need that consistent damage pick, like, for example, Yunara Lulu, but T1 always have the first pick priority here so they could grab it for Keria. Instead, it's just going to be Ziggs. Pretty weird Ziggs angle here in a triple DPS composition.
It's kind of cool, though, because they already have an AD carry.
I think the theory is they have enough DPS, and Ziggs is very good at controlling melee short-range compositions. You have the minefield, the satchel. He's going to be hard to reach if Peyz is playing it well.
And if Oner's playing it well, the pillar can be amazing in this composition.
This is so much a control comp for T1, and now Gen.G have to find a way they can break that open. Silver's going to give them movement speed as a good matchup into the Ziggs, does give them that sustained damage.
Ooh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, they go for the Jhin as well. We've seen the Jhin as follow-up when teams are diving in, and that is what Gen.G needs to do, but
I think there's too many things Jhin has to kill. He doesn't have enough bullets. You know, there's three. There's going to
be 5 champions and he's only got 4 bullets.
I think Kiin is going to be so important in this draft, regardless of what the support ends up being here. He is going to have to do a ton of damage. He's going to actually be having to help kill those backline targets. And if he's behind, this gets so tough to play out. And they're going to go for the Camille support again. I find this draft here for T1 to be really strong and a much better read than what we saw on Friday, but it's so unusual. Speaking of unusual,
wait a second. Who's playing Jax? Who's playing Trundle?
You know, Keria has played Jax support in solo queue.
I mean, they're just doing a top lane matchup in the support role. Supportal combat has never been this brutal before. And they're going to lock in the Shen instead. This is a Keria special. and he has certainly found a lot of success on this one in the past. A different look, but the thing that this Camille gives Gen.G, which is really important, is the Camille Galio combo. And unlocking Duro on the map can be incredibly devastating if Gen.G can get themselves into a position where they can do so. But the amount of control that T1 has, especially now with Stand United, makes things really, really difficult for Gen.G to make their composition work.
Yeah, you have the shield on whichever target's hit. You have to kill 3 targets eventually, so the first one needs to go down incredibly fast. And if you can get a decent amount of damage done, maybe Kiin cleans up, but I don't think the Jhin really ever does into what T1 has.
This feels like a lot of takeaways from T1 from their match against HLE, where they played this melee-heavy composition into the Shen, into the Cassiopeia. Now they're the ones with the Cassiopeia, with the Shen, yes, in a different position, but they're playing the defensive control side of the matchup, and it's up to Gen.G to close the distance, and especially when you're playing Ambessa into Vayne, who has such a strong early lane, Cassiopeia on the other side of the Galio, this is going to be a tall ask for Gen.G in Game 1, I feel.
I think this is going to come down to form, and I think that Gen.G's is going to need to be a little bit better than it was even yesterday, based on what we're seeing here in the draft. This is a lot of comfort, though. Chovy's Galio has been legendary in the past, and it's Kiin's Ambessa. He's on a carry. Let's see whether they can make it work as we get onto the Rift for Game 1. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5. One team will go to MSI and the other will go home. That is what this one is all about.
So they got that ward down quickly into that lane brush just above mid lane, and then they all stacked there, and they basically ensured that there's no ward coming in to spot out Canyon. Faker doesn't have as much safety as well, so I wonder if they're trying to set up for an early gank to come in on the back of that. Obviously, if Galio can just flash onto the Cassiopeia, the Lee Sin can be there for the follow-up.
Now, there's also another question here about lane priority in this draft, with the Cassiopeia's early levels going to smash the mid lane here, obviously, into the Galio, and then the Vayne into the Ambessa favors Doran in this early game, too. He's gone for the common exhaust. And down here, depending on how you play this Shen, if you can get level 2 first and you can control this lane, you can have a lot of power, but they're not doing that now.
That is a lot of damage to that 4th shot. We're looking for another one, but it's just Duro that gets the work done. First blood over to the Camille.
Just not respecting the level 1 of the Camille, the ignite, so much power on top of the stun, and Keria just gets caught out, especially the burst damage from the Jhin. Didn't have his dash available.
And the Ziggs is never going to be able to match that damage. I think you really needed level 2 if you were going to actually go into on this. Peyz is going to have to satchel his way out. That was a great reaction. But I think you really needed to play that very differently as T1 if you wanted to look for the early aggression. It was too soon and way too close to that level 1 Camille, as you mentioned. And this is a huge lead here already for Gen.G in the bottom lane.
This is starting to get tricky already. Duro thinking about going for a back, but he is not going to be allowed to. As we check in towards his top side, this should be a matchup that Doran will eventually have a lot of control in. Certainly in the early levels we'll have a lot of control in, but it's still Ambessa, right? As Chovy, not going to have a lot of control in this one. There's a taunt, though. Shadow Dash from Keria as they pull Duro back. They look for Keria again. And now Ruler needing to grab this kill to try and equalize. He'll find it as Peyz runs out of buttons, and this Jhin is becoming a problem.
What feels great here is that Ruler gets the kill in this situation. Keria was the one who got the kill onto the Camille. They also commit the ignite from Keria there and just end up trading 1-for-1. So they find the aggression, but they're not able to come out ahead. And you see here, Keria uses the Q for the shield and then has nothing left.
He's got nothing, right? And he's so far forward, there's just no escape. Even commits the flash there. Now with level 2, you can see there's a little bit more playmaking power here. Keria is able to get the taunt, which sets up the satchel, and Duro is zoned. But all the while, Ruler is free hitting onto Keria, so he has to sacrifice his life in order to get this kill. So it's not really a trade up for T1 at all, especially with where the gold went, as you mentioned, onto the Jhin.
Well, now we're having a check-in on this mid lane. You can see Chovy is about 11 CS behind. Faker having a really good time as the Cassio on this one. And he was the one that was bearing the brunt of this on the other side last time he played the matchup. And so probably very happy to be slithering around instead of being the Galio. I think Galio definitely picked more for composition rather than for lane, though, so we'll see what Chovy can get done as he is able to leave that laning phase. And Canyon, I think we're going to need to have a microscope on in this game. I think that this Lee Sin needs to be so proactive when we get to, especially the mid game, but even hopefully earlier than that.
Camille sneaking around here, by the way. Great pathing from Duro.
Yeah, he is going to look to make his way in as Doran. Probably going to have to flash this one. There is the sweep, and he's just dead. Doesn't even use the flash, just knows that he's going to go down a 2-1-1 Camille now in this game.
Look at the vision setup that Doran had. He felt totally safe. He has so much information, but Duro's just able to skirt all of it and get over there, and he just did not expect it.
Yeah. He's currentently 100% everything participation in this game.
I will say, good from Doran to hold the sums because you still had the hook shot from Duro. You don't know that he necessarily used it to get over the wall, so you have to be patient. If you flash and you get stunned after it, you're dead anyway. So at least he holds on to his summoner spells.
Oh, Duro looking for that sweep. He'll get the flash out of Peyz. I believe he used the satchel a little bit earlier, so didn't quite have it back off cooldown.
Got to keep that defensive satchel into a Camille.
So I'm starting to wonder, is Camille support the strongest support in the game? Hold up.
Well, let's see whether Chovy can be strong as well. As the Justice Punch doesn't work, he goes straight into the canal as he looks to heroically charge his way out, and he will.
But is Camille's support the strongest support in the game, or do LCK teams not know how to play into Camille's support?
I mean, we've
been playing into it for years.
I know,
but a Camille support game earlier this weekend where it did not go nearly as well. So I definitely think it's a pick that has high risk, high reward. And we're seeing the high reward so far in this game.
We have a high risk as well.
Public execution, and Kiin pretty happy that one missed.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
As we do have T1 trying to control the Scuttle Crab right now, but Gen.G are grouped here. We're going to have a little bit of a skirmish for it, potentially.
Yeah, Doran actually getting traded on here with the Electrocute coming out of the Ambessa. Nice little tech to make sure that these short trades are deadly. Doran is still able to get this one shoved up, taking plates. Does have a little bit of a CS lead. It is going to be a gold advantage over to Kiin, though, based on that assist that he was able to pick up as Keria and Duro both parked in this top lane.
Both teams are just trying to surprise the other, but they're both aware of what's going on, and so I don't think anything should eventuate from this. Doran holding onto his ult right now and the exhaust, so has a lot of power, but his health is fairly low here, so risky to commit. I think this is not going to end up being anything. Oner is coming up right now, however, and is unseen. Wrapping around the backside here as the Ziggs is very self-sufficient without the support, but Ruler has prio on the bottom side. Let's see if Oner can find something here.
Yeah, they're just... both of these top laners are just trying to act. You know, it's just a bit of an acting class towards this top side. Like, yeah, no one's here. No, we're just laning. It's normal. It's fine. Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone is 100% aware.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the acting is, like, you're aware that it's acting, but maybe it's good anyway. As Peyz and Ruler, like you say, just very happily farming off against one another. And this is kind of why you pick the Jhin, is to allow you to kind of equalize the amount of left alone to do what you want. And it's why I kind of like this this Camille support angle. Even if it is a Jhin, it's not something we necessarily see paired alongside it as much.
And of course, the combo with the Galio.
Yeah.
Chovy did have to use his ult defensively earlier, and obviously Duro doesn't have his yet, but when that combo comes together, pretty devastating. We're seeing so much more, I feel like, this weekend since the patch hit, of just our supports abandoning lane and being super far behind in levels.
Yeah, just becoming a second jungler, effectively, and looking to, and without farming, of course, and just looking to be an extra engage button to get the lanes ahead. And when one support roams, you have to match, or you have to dive that lane, right, and look to punish the AD carry. And with the Ziggs, it's really difficult to punish him because he has so much wave clear, he has his ult. So we're just going to see the Camille, who wants to be more aggressive anyways, lead the charge, and it's just a follow here from Keria all over the map. But haven't really seen any ganks since those early ones because everyone is so hyper aware of who's missing. And right now, you can see the very aware T1 that they cannot actually get control of this bottom side, so they'll look to trade Dragon for Grubs, but there is going to be some extra plate gold going over. Can they kill Kiin, who has no flash here? He has his ultimate.
Well, it can be hard to outplay it, but with 3 people, it might work. There's a heroic entrance as Chovy's going to join in, and that will be enough to defend their top laner. It is going to be Grubs taken here by Oner. The Dragon just secured from Canyon, and Gen.G retain that slight gold advantage that was built by the bottom lane earlier on. Nothing has really changed too much. I think the stabilization has been commendable here by T1.
Oh, they're going to try again.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, see whether you can do it with the Camille there as well, as he does have the hook shot. Mega Inferno Bomb able to lock down the Ambessa, but it's 2 already on the floor. As Oner wanting to go back, they're trying to get this reset, but Peyz taking so much damage from the tower, and Duro is massive on this Camille.
This ends up being a pretty big fail from T1. There was a...
Oh, they're collapsing.
Oh, there's in so much trouble.
There's a Galio coming as well. The little Ziggs does avoid the Sonic Wave, but he walks up. And so I think that will have sealed his fate. And it's going to be a safeguard over, wanting to deny Chovy an assist, so it's going to be a solo kill over to Canyon. He'll lock that one down.
A 1 for 3 in that situation. T1 the ones making the proactive play, but they get punished massively by Gen.G. And the thing is, the initial dive was prevented by Chovy, but they went back for it again to try and make it happen. And the cost is so dear.
I think the rationale behind this play is Chovy's TP'd mid. We need to make something of this. Kiin's he's ice skating. I think the rationale is Ziggs can do better than a Jhin pushing that bottom turret because he has a short fuse. We might be able to get a lot of plate money here. If we can kill Kiin, the value will be immaculate. But Kiin is able to survive here, right? Duro does so much work, and eventually, yes, you get Kiin on the follow-up, but the turret ramp is insane, and Peyz is a Ziggs, right? Like, he doesn't have consistent damage, he has to wait for his cooldowns. That last turret shot really seals their fate, and because it takes so long and they can't get this kill onto Duro, it gives plenty of time for, yes, the Galio teleporter, but he's coming up, he's walking up, here comes Canyon, and Peyz just doesn't have any outs.
The wave was so small as well when they went for that. It was definitely a rushed play. They're like, we need to get this kill now and get out, and just weren't able to disengage. You saw from Keria having low HP, he went in with that taunt knowing he was just dead. There was no way he was getting out. And I think the game plan was 1 for 1, but did not factor in the extended turnaround from Gen.G. We do now have level 6 being hit by Keria. Duro's about to come in. Big playmaking tool for the Camille, but the ult from the Shen is so much value.
Certainly is, and Duro's sacrifice means that even Ruler is level 9. Like, everyone's level 9 on Gen.G's side, outside of Duro, who hasn't quite hit Hextech Ultimatum, will now finally do so. And that is a huge cooldown that they now have access to. Kiin looking for Doran, will be able to find him here. Bone plating does go down, but now Canyon's in trouble. The bouncing bomb somehow misses, but the Mega Inferno Bomb is not going to. That's a bigger circle. And so the Lee Sin is going to get pushed away.
Not a lot of
still trying to figure something out.
Yeah, not a lot of setup here for Ruler to actually try to continue anything here, even though Kiin has his ultimate. He's isolated on top side, so it should just be the scuttle control. And now they're going to look to try to cut Kiin off, but he has flash and ult, so I respect the gusto from Keria and how proactive he's been here to try to get Doran ahead, but I don't think there's an angle here. And Canyon's very aware of this, is already heading back top side. They're going to see him on this ward, and I think that's the end of that, surely. But Duro's here as well. You really got to be careful if you want to commit. Could backfire in a huge way, as T1 have spent so much time and so much resources trying to get this Vayne ahead, but he's 0-2.
I feel like at this point the supports have spent more time top than bot lane.
Yeah, this is the new lane swap, I think. We've just got completely different mid laners and bot laners. Okay, Duro looking for a bit of an angle here, but we know that Keria is waiting in that brush. He comes out. The double taunt is fantastic, but the public execution is also very good. Doran goes down. It's a 1 for 1 so far, but it's support for top lane. Oner flashing away. Canyon follows. He'll find the Tempest Cripple and the double kill as the teleport comes in from downtown as Faker swoops in and will be able to at least keep Keria alive.
The teleport's so late that ends up coming through for T1, not able to turn around the play, and the target selection was just better from Gen.G. They take out the sustained damage off the Vayne immediately and then work through the highest priority targets. In this situation, Keria does end up getting what could have been a great taunt, but unfortunately Kiin buffers it with the ultimate, so he doesn't get CC'd. He's able to catch on to the Vayne. Vayne goes down even with the Shen ultimate, and then you traded, as you said, top for support. And from then on, they just have way more damage. They focus down Oner, and then Keria there's no way he wins this.
I want to point something out that's been going on for a while here in this game. Peyz has not completed his role quest, and Rulers has been done for a very long time. You look at the CS, you look at the KDA between these two top laners, but Rulers already generated 500 gold the advantage, a lot of that in his earlier completed role quest, and that is going to be something he's basically always going to have. Peyz will never be able to catch up on. His role quest is still not finished, and this is becoming a larger and larger problem here for this Ziggs, that they tried to get ahead, they tried to get those plates on the top side, it didn't work out, and Peyz is just not in the game state he wants to have here heading into the mid game.
And now looking for a second dragon here is Gen.G. It looks like Canyon will be able to lock that one down. by himself or maybe with a little bit of help from Chovy, who's going to rotate his way up. They have a lot of deep vision, though, and I think Gen.G will be able to very comfortably pick this one up for free. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Absolutely beautiful as we get a Cloud Soul. Thanks, T1. They are very reliable when it comes to Cloud Souls, and they're getting it out of the way in the very first game.
Kiin hitting that one-item spike of the Eclipse is such a problem for Doran, who had this Vayne matchup and was hoping to come out successfully. 0-3 and 2 now, and Kiin feels like such a scary threat. They're still trying to four-man top lane.
There are so many bad guys here as Doran goes in. Mega Inferno Bomb. They do manage to kill the Ambessa as Duro just has to get himself the heck out of there. Finally, mission complete. As Duro is likely to go down as well. It's a double for Faker as Chovy looking to trade this one. Ruler also getting some damage down in this mid lane. The cross map is pretty ridiculous here from Gen.G.
Yeah, Gen.G are going to be able to grab this first turret in return. Kiin not able to ult in that fight, but almost bursts down the Vayne. Imagine if he gets that kill before dying and they get the turret, would it be absolutely insane. But T1 want to turn this into a larger turret win here.
This Condemned Flash was so nice from Doran. He actually messed one up earlier under tower, but nails this one. And with the Miasma follow-up, there's just nothing that Kiin can do.
And T1 want to get this turret. It's part of why they want to get this play, but they're still outpaced by the pushing Galio on the bottom side. They still haven't finished this turret here top side either. So yes, you got the kills, but the gold lead hasn't changed.
Yeah. And that role quest situation that you were talking about, I can't stop looking at it now.
Look at the gold, it's
still not quite there. Exactly.
Now.
It's only expanded by another 250 gold.
The more time you spend with role quest completed advantage in the bottom lane, the more that lead compounds, and you'll just never get it back as T1. You can't go back in time.
Well, Keria is able to stand in the Spirit's Refuge. That's going to help him out against Ruler here. As Duro now in a little bit of trouble. Faker moving over as the taunt set up just to try and get this Camille out as the Rift Herald down very, very low. Secured here by the Jhin as now Kiin shows up and gets so much damage. Down goes Doran, the immediate revenge for the Ambessa. The curtains were called, and it is indeed curtains for T1 in that play as the Herald goes over to Gen.G as well.
Kiin's ults this game have been so good. Teleports into 4. Oh, Baker and
Duro comes in. Speaking of ults, as now Chovy turns up with a gigantic taunt, and down they all go. Even Duro surviving the Mega Inferno Bomb in the end.
It's nearly an ace, and they have a Herald on the turret.
And T1's composition, one that wants to control the pace, keep them at a healthy distance, is just struggling to do so. Gen.G so crisp with these engages. Initially, Kiin, his ultimates have been so good, buffering CC constantly.
And Chovy's follow-up as well in that fight is fantastic. So watch this here from Kiin, TPing into the fight.
He goes to wait for him.
And they know exactly how they want to play this. Goes into the backline here, sets up a huge ultimate here from Chovy as well. His gets backline access right away. Well, guess what's happening in the backline? Ruler following up. The composition is working like a well-oiled machine. And then they catch Faker here on the side and lock him down.
Look at Chovy as well. Channels the taunt. Little sidestep to dodge the ultimate from the Cassiopeia.
Oh, man.
So beautifully played there. Those little micro movements are just textbook.
They finally got the turret, though.
There we go.
It only took 17 minutes to try and...
No,
hey, and because they got it late, they get the bounty.
Big news. We got the bot lane roll quest.
Hey, yes. There we go. Big celebration. And so now this 1,000 gold lead shouldn't just naturally extend over time unless Ruler continues to get kills.
I mean, you do get that influx of gold when you complete it.
True.
But unfortunately, Ruler picked up a bunch of gold in the team fight. So, not looking great.
Well, Chovy, once again, not going to get hit by the Petrifying Gaze. And I guess, I mean, he's already stone. Like, he's a gargoyle. Shouldn't Petrifying Gaze not even work on a Galio?
You would think.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting how you know that meme we used to have of like all the players turn around and Faker turn the other way and they put the Cassiopeia in front? Just Faker would always sidestep it, turn away. And this game, Chovy's been putting that on display. Has also picked up the Imperial Mandate, which is on Galio an insane item. 30 ability haste on every ability but your Q is incredible value.
Yep. Pretty ridiculous.
With how well Kiin has been playing and how well Gen.G have been playing around Kiin, it has been that Gen.G have known the game plan from T1. They've been one step ahead of T1. They've matched those rotations. Duro's always been the cannon's been rotating over a little bit late sometimes, but in time. And Kiin's playing so incredibly well that T1's game plan just isn't working. It just isn't working at all, and now Gen.G have such a lead, 4,000 gold here with a 2-dragon lead. They're looking for Soul Point as they group for this prio right now. Chovy's about to have his teleport back. Kiin is resetting right now to come over. They already have the control around this pit. I think T1 are just going to have to give this up, which is so tragic, so disastrous in the game state that's already been so rough for them. They just have to sit back and give more.
Yeah, and this is going to be Soul Point, like you say, but they also miss out on their red buff. Gen.G really taking control of anywhere they kind of choose to look at on this map. And it's not the game state that I was expecting. I was expecting this Ziggs draft to be able to play out this stage of the game and really take control of structures, get control of areas, utilize the Trundle with the pillar and all this sort of stuff. But the way Gen.G has been playing has just been so fast and loose, and hats off to Duro, man. Just completely warping the game from like 2 minutes in. And I think because this Camille got up to such a great start, it just adds an extra weapon to Gen.G that T1 didn't account for in the draft.
I mean, it's been so impactful, and it's the fact that we have this game, and earlier on this weekend, we had that Camille game where it was a 1-9, and it just seemed to be dying non-stop, really struggling. It is such a feast or famine pick. You are playing on a knife's edge to make success on this champion, but Duro has just been pulling it off again and again in this game. Gen.G as well, would have been a Cloud Soul. I feel like there's so much value for their team. Not necessarily champions that sync up that well with the ult to get movement speed. Jhin, for example, doesn't. Oh, Kiin looking for an all-in.
Yeah, Canyon is going to come down here as he does have support from Keria. He's going to be able to pick up that kill as Canyon now has to get out a teleport in from Faker as well. A lot to make sure that Kiin goes down, but they get their man.
If there was a dragon here, I think this would feel great for T1 because maybe you could turn that into something. Instead, it's going to be here an attempt to stop Chovy from getting the cross-map turret. They got the kill. That's important. That's valuable money, but this turret is so healthy. They're going to stick for it. They're going to look for more.
Yeah, Canyon is able to safeguard as the Condemn is coming down. It's now Peyz. He's on his satchel, but he's just going to get wiped out by Ruler. Finds the bullet, and he's able to take him out. Petrifying Gaze under 2. It's Faker. Makes the flash play. And now Canyon trying to get himself out. The heroic entrance is going to allow it, but now Chovy's in the firing line, and he is just
Here comes Duro.
His way down, and Duro, the hero of the hour, is looking to make his way in. Another Condemn coming on through as now Gen.G find the front foot, and the teleport from Kiin, as this man has been addicted to revenge this game, and he's going to find even more as Faker goes down.
Ruler's opening the base.
Gets his man, and yeah, Ruler has never been with his team, to be honest. He's just killing turrets.
The side lane Jhin effectively just pushing on his own. T1 think they found a successful play, but they want more out of it, and Gen.G punish them for their greed. In this situation, they turn around this play well. Kiin very confident in the 1v1, but it doesn't end up being a 1v1. The exhaust comes in, the Shen ult comes in. The Canyon disengages. This play, though, Ziggs typically very safe, but the flash from Duro means he can't satchel to interrupt the hook shot, and once he connects, he's just stuck.
Then down here, they want more, right? There's a lot of greed, but there's so much control here for Duro. This ultimate buys a lot of time, and that's all they need to do is to buy time for the larger team fight to come through. And Gen.G play this so incredibly well, right? They play it slow, they don't overforce, and then the TP comes through. Kiin shows up after respawning here, and T1 are just outgunned, outnumbered, and the play took too long.
And this is a timer that I think T1 would have, in the past, been right on top of, you know, playing around when Kiin is going to be back up again, when can he punish? And that's when we back away. It's almost like T1 playing with a little bit more desperation that we've seen otherwise. As Gen.G now is Soul Point, minute and a half left on this Cloud Drake.
They are in a pretty desperate situation. This series is do or die, and right now this game is not in a great spot. Gen.G, 6,200 gold lead, Baron's up, Dragon's in a minute and a half. They're looking for Faker here.
Yeah, he does have Oner as support. And so Chovy not going to be quite as tanky as he otherwise would be, but I think they're just going to flash on it. They look for the angle onto Faker. Petrifying Gaze does connect, but Canyon still resonating strike comes in. Double knock up as a heroic entrance comes down just as punch for more CC as Kiin is there for the cleanup. He is going to go down as he goes a little bit too deep. The Condemn was pretty good there from Doran, but a 2-for-1 and the turret going down. Gen.G still with their eyes on a potential Baron.
This draft for Gen.G had to be played so well. Kiin had to be able to absorb that pressure topside. They needed to be ahead. They needed to be able to snowball through this Jhin and take T1 apart constantly. but this is what it does when it's ahead, when it's firing all cylinders, when it hits all of its breakpoints. You just kind of pull them over, and Ruler fires at fish in a barrel as you lock them down. And T1 have no recourse. There is nothing they can do this far behind against the execution here of Gen.G. Perhaps Kiin could have played that last part a little bit slower, but ultimately, does it really matter? I think the answer is no. No, Soul Point already here. 20 seconds until that dragon spawns for Gen.G. This comp is already so strong from ahead, but with the Cloud Soul, even more potent.
Oh, with the Cloud Soul, they're just zooming, and Galio as well, being able to taunt and being faster as you do it is just, that 15% movement speed goes so hard when you're trying to connect on the targets. They're going in for this TP. T1 want to contest this, but they're so far behind. This needs to be flawless from them.
Yep. Teleport does come in. There's a deadly flourish onto Keria as Canyon just gets on top of him and Chovy knocks him down. Now Oner's going to need a fantastic smite, but it's Gen.G that are looking for the team fighters. In goes Kiin. He is going to give me petrifying gaze though, and now able to dash his way out. Still taken down by Oner, who is doing battle in the back line. Still going to be taken. He did buy a lot of time, but Peyz is still dead. The Hextech ultimatum saved for this Ziggs, and now Gen.G pick up the ace, and they can do anything they want.
Duro does nearly 3,000 damage
this
in that
is
fight.
A carry.
He's doing so much work, saves the Hextech ultimatum till the end to pick up the Ziggs. But here, this pick on a Keria, the Deadly Flourish lasts long enough for them to just go in on him. He can't taunt before he goes down. And then this flank from Duro, even though Faker gets a great ult to peel away, it's still so hard to reposition from here, and Chovy just beelines immediately for the Cassiopeia.
And they're missing the critical Shen ultimate in this fight, and the pick to kill Keria was through really basic abilities. No expensive cooldowns were used, so it's really easy for them to follow. And they haven't broken open the base just yet, and the Dragon does go over to T1, so there's some small, very microscopic silver linings here. I just don't think it gets better from here, as Canyon could do whatever he wants, seemingly. He's got GA as well.
Yeah.
2 levels up on Oner. Like, legitimately 2 levels up.
Canyon. He's going to get hit by a petrifying gaze. That GA may not last very long as he does safeguard, gets the kick back onto Oner, and will keep that. Oh, never mind. Okay, still holds onto it. Calculated, I guess. Chovy is now here, and so the Lee Sin is going to be okay. No flash, though.
Some aura farming, I guess.
Yeah.
Not necessary at all.
Oh, there is a taunt. Looks like Keria's one is going to be working out okay, but the Winds of War do damage now. Riftmaker now done for Chovy. And even though there's a lot of support items, like kind of for Chovy, he's still doing a lot.
I think what those last 2 attempts from T1 indicated is that the damage just isn't there. The fact they couldn't even get Canyon into his GA, and Chovy just seemingly not taking any damage right now.
We've talked about a split pushing Camille in the top lane, but how about a support Camille at level 11 threatening an inhibitor turret in the mid lane, and now the inhibitor.
Duro testing out his top lane career here in this game, as now Oner getting taken down to about 2/3. King Tribute going to be helping him, but this is an inner turret still under fire. This siege minion is just sitting there, hitting.
He's just got hit by a bouncing grenade.
Oh, I think Canyon might be in a little bit of trouble here. Goes down to the GA, double knock up there from the heroic entrance as Chovy should be able to save the Lee Sin, but for how long, that's the question. Great interruption with the pillar, but it's not enough to save Keria. And you guys were talking about it this whole time. Where's the damage?
And you know what's so sad? If they've gotten the GA earlier on Canyon, that would have been that whole kill there. But unfortunately, it's now just a 5v4 as Gen.G are pushing into the base. There's Duro.
Yeah, looking for the angle once again. Hextech ultimatum is going to be thrown down onto Oner, and he is going to be taken out. No subjugation going to work this time, as Canyon looking to get on over here and take down this inhibitor as well. But the top inhib is also going to fall. The base of T1 just being turned into rubble here by Gen.G in game 1.
And it almost felt like they wanted to just use Canyon as a Chovy ult point.
Yeah, right.
Just stand near them so I can get a good ult. And he's just been walking towards T1 and setting up these traps. You know, sure, you almost got him. You got his GA this time, but it's not worth it. There's no real win as the dust settles. T1 have been able to bring this to a nearly 30-minute game, but 2 inhibitors are down, and that dragon is going to spawn eventually. As we see this attempt to kill Canyon, but it's just Chovy following up. Look at who's also following up, the Jhin, right, from Ruler. And there's no way for T1 to realistically, with the low damage they have, do anything here. The pillar is cute, but Keria dies in exchange for the GA, and the siege continues. They turn this into a double inhibitor take after all those T1 tools were burned on a GA.
And so now just focus on the bottom lane and take the dragon when it comes up.
They're just at the point where any target is easy to take down. You hex that ultimatum, the Trundle, he ults, it doesn't matter, he will just get massacred. Canyon now 3 levels above Oner on this Lee Sin.
And Ruler, Chovy, and Canyon all haven't died. So far this game, their carries have been incredibly safe. Kiin and Duro just absorbing as much of the pressure as possible. It's pretty textbook here from Gen.G in game number 1.
One of these mid laners has a completed Rod of Ages, but he's over a level behind the opposition here in Chovy.
Oh, man. Let's not look at that one, though, because Canyon is almost 3 full levels.
Yeah, he was a moment ago just 3 levels, you know, on the casual, like you're kind of cheating, but now we're looking at almost the full 3 XP bars.
And now it's 8 seconds until this Cloud Soul is available. Gen.G will be booking it around this map, and it's an 11,000 gold lead. If ever there is a time for the T1 magic to be employed, it is right now, and they're going to need so much of it.
I'm starting to wonder if it's in game 2, actually. It might be the time.
It would be great if we had it then, too. If they wanted to win game 1, though, they're going to need a lot right now.
And let's see what happens with the siege on the bottom side as they're all grouped up right now. Baker a little bit extended.
Oh, public execution will be avoided here, but the Petrifying Gaze also does nothing. And Keria, oh no, he didn't sign up for this. Well, actually he did. He pressed on the Cassiopeia, and he's going to go down as well. That's going to really create some problems as Gen.G are running so quickly, and they are looking for this last inhibitor and probably some Nexus turrets afterwards.
This should just be the game if they just keep the push up here. Triple inhibitors is a death sentence, and Gen.G, this sidesteps they keep getting on these Petrifying Gazes have just been insane. The microwave from them.
Oh, Q gonna get picked up here as the back onto Peyz. Canyon finds it one more time. Kiin's gonna go down though, and now Doran with that ulti running, looks for the angle, gets a double kill here as Ruler's gonna be taken out for the first time this game, and Canyon gets on top of him. Down goes Doran. It was some heroics in the end, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win them this game. But maybe they won't lose just yet. As Keria, going down. Faker with a full health bar, looking pretty good. But Chovy looking to get on top of him. The taunt is not going to work. Petrifying Gaze onto just Chovy is not enough. And now it is just Oner against the world as Gen.G move in with their army of minions and look to take game 1 here. As, man, looks like Gen.G are hungry to defend that MSI title.
Canyon looked out into the crowd and sent a wink to Insect, and then he went straight into the back line, man, and said, I'm ending this game right now.